prepared, not for tomorrow, but for today. A pivotal moment is drawing near, and you are not here by accident. If you are not truly present, you could miss a precious opportunity your soul has been waiting for all along. No matter where you are in your journey, no matter how many times you have lost your way, you are now standing at the exact intersection you were meant to reach. Life has days that are unlike all the rest. They are not merely numbers on a calendar, they are signals, invisible yet powerful markers on the map of your life. This Saturday is one of those days. It is not an ordinary day. It is the culmination of hundreds of choices, thousands of turning points, and countless trials that have all brought you back to yourself. You may not remember, but you once chose this day, before you ever took on this form, before you even knew what time or space was. A deep part of you marked this moment as a reminder. Every chosen soul leaves awakening checkpoints along their journey, and this Saturday is one of them. That is why, lately, you have felt something shifting. A strange energy has been surrounding you, unexplained restlessness, the sense that everything is about to change. This is not your imagination, it is real. A new layer of vibration is beginning to awaken, and you are being invited to step into it. This moment does not demand perfection from you, it only asks for honesty. Ask yourself, am I still living in alignment with my true self? Because when the moment aligns with the frequency of your soul, everything begins to move. The door will open without you knocking, but you must have the courage to walk through it. Perhaps you have felt different, too sensitive, too intense, too unlike anyone else. But those very traits are your true essence. And now in this season you will discover that what once made you feel isolated is now what connects you to the right people and the right places. Your light is no longer misunderstood, it is beginning to be seen. The frequency you carry has finally found resonance in the world around you. More genuine connections are forming, unexpected opportunities are appearing. This is not just a special day, it is a turning point. And you have been ready for it all along. Everything begins on a Saturday that seemed ordinary until it wasn't. The kind of day you expect nothing from, yet a subtle shift in the air makes you pause and realize you've stepped into a moment unlike any other. The delays, the broken plans, all the moments that once made you feel lost, turns out they were the hidden map guiding your steps. Perhaps you've looked back at your past more than once and wondered, why am I still here instead of somewhere farther? But then this Saturday comes, and that question begins to dissolve, not because you've found the perfect explanation, but because you can feel it. Everything is connecting. What once left you, people, dreams, opportunities, didn't defeat you. They were simply turns in the road, steering you away from the paths that weren't yours, guiding you toward the one you were meant to walk. You're not stagnant. You're being repositioned, and in the midst of it all, a new feeling emerges, a peace that asks for no defense. Alongside it comes something even deeper, a release from the heavy burden of having to prove yourself, no longer carrying resentment or silent questions about your worth. The universe has not overlooked the things you quietly did right. The kind choices made with no audience, the times you could have wounded but instead chose to stay silent and let go. All of it is returning to you now. They're not recorded in some moral ledger. They live in the field of energy surrounding you, like invisible savings. And this Saturday is the moment they begin to bear fruit. Not loudly, not dramatically. A silent yet profound shift, when a door you never knew existed swings open. A conversation you thought meant nothing suddenly leads to an opportunity. A past rejection is unexpectedly replaced by agreement. You don't need to ask, why now? Because on a deeper level, you already know. This is the quiet reward for the times you chose light, even when darkness seemed easier. This is the result of living true, even when no one was watching. This Saturday doesn't come to change you. It comes to mirror back who you truly are. There is something moving in the stillness, a shift you cannot quite name, a weight in your chest, as if the very air around you is waiting for you to step into the right thing you've been longing for all this time. Perhaps in the past you shook your head, dismissing it as imagination. That fleeting, quiet feeling, you used to brush it aside like a passing breeze, but this time it refuses to fade. It follows you from the first light of morning until the end of the day, lingering like a breath at the back of your neck, as if the future itself is quietly keeping pace with your every step. This is no longer vague, not blind hope, nor a fragile intuition. This is a deep knowing beyond the surface of thought, a silent echo from within. You find yourself unusually alert to things that seem insignificant. A faint sound in the distance makes your heart jump. A sudden shift in the wind makes you pause, as if the earth and sky are trying to tell you something. Each separate event might seem insignificant on its own, yet when they converge all at once, you can no longer deny that something is shifting. Snippets of conversations overheard suddenly carry unmistakable meaning. Subtle cues, changes in the atmosphere, they all seem to be clearing a path towards something your mind hasn't yet named. Then it happens. No fanfare, no warning bells, just a singular moment, perhaps an unexpected reunion, a chance opportunity emerging out of nowhere, or a choice you must make purely by instinct. Whatever it is, you know it's coming. Not through reasoning, but through feeling. This Saturday, you'll stop ignoring that intuition. What was once a whisper has become your guide. Instead of doubting yourself, you move in tandem with it, and in that synchrony, a new layer of experience unfolds. Your body responds like a field of waves, absorbing or repelling energy even before an event fully unfolds. You no longer need explanations. You simply know, and that's enough. You don't regard it as a signal anymore. It's part of your existence, like your heartbeat, like your breath, always present, always just half a step ahead. This Saturday may not be the first time you feel it, but it's the first time you choose to listen, and once you shed that final layer of doubt, everything becomes clear. Your frequency, the original vibration you've carried since birth, rises again, not to make you stand out, but to make you truer to yourself. No noise, no distractions, just a profound alignment between you and the world. You've experienced moments like this before, those rare times when everything simply makes sense without explanation. When you speak, people fall silent. When you act, the world seems to make space for you. But this time you won't turn away. For most of your life, you've silenced that part of you deep within, not because you didn't know it existed, but because survival required it. To fit in, you softened your voice, dimmed your inner light, restrained the fullness of your presence to fit smaller spaces. You wore versions of yourself that weren't quite authentic, just to be accepted. Every adaptation like that diminished your original signal. Over time, those distortions grew familiar, like background noise you no longer recognized as alien. But this Saturday, that changes. Without any build-up or crescendo, your true essence returns, an undeniable re-emergence of the pure note you've carried since birth. You won't need to justify that feeling. It will resonate within you like a silent call, making certain things suddenly impossible to pretend. Places that once embraced you will suddenly feel constricting. Roles that used to fit like gloves will feel too heavy. This is your inner signal surfacing, reclaiming the space it once yielded, and when it does, compromise loses its appeal. Dissonance becomes uncomfortable, heavy, draining, less because you reject it, and more because it no longer fits the energetic system you've reactivated. Empty conversations lose their meaning. Agreements you once accepted now feel like too great a bargain. At first you might feel a sense of loss, but in truth you are being refined. What no longer fits is naturally falling away. You are no longer fragmented. You are being brought back to your original frequency. And from there, life begins to resonate. Friends you once only sensed in dreams suddenly appear. Opportunities arrive at just the right time with the right people, as if they have been waiting for you all along. You're not chasing after anything. You are aligning with it, and when you stand firmly in your own frequency, the world no longer feels like a random series of events. Everything becomes seamless. Each decision, each step connects in one continuous flow. No breaks, no interruptions. From this moment on, you will clearly know what is real and what is just noise. And when you speak from that deepest place within, the world will listen. Not because you raise your voice, but because you are finally speaking your true voice. The version of you you carry into Saturday morning will not be the same version that sends you to sleep that night. Throughout life there has always been a shell you've worn, not exactly by choice, but because you had to in order to stay safe. It's the part of you that learned to soothe situations, maintain peace, and avoid being seen too much. It's the part you once believed you needed, the one who smiled at the right moments, nodded silently, didn't push back, didn't reveal too much. That version helped you survive in emotionally tight spaces, helped you get through days when no one was really listening. But you've outgrown that version. Still, sometimes you let it speak for you, simply out of habit, or fear that letting go means losing your grip. This Saturday, something will shift, not because you force it, but because a deep part inside you stops cooperating. You might be talking and suddenly hear your own voice feel out of place, or you start to reply as you always do, but then pause, as if someone inside has stepped back from the conversation. It's not confusion, it's transition. The part that protected you all this time realizes its role is complete, and it will leave without loud goodbyes. Only the strange feeling of a long-closed door quietly opening. Its absence at first may cause hesitation. You might want to call it back, because it was once part of your identity. But it won't return. Not because you're abandoned, but because you're freed. You're not losing a piece of yourself. You're clearing the way for a version that's been there all along, a version more authentic, less fearful, and no longer needing to perform to exist. On Saturday night, when you lie down, you may feel your shoulders lighten, not because the day was easier, but because at last you no longer have to hold everything together. For the first time in years, you breathe without strain. The world outside may remain the same, but you are walking with a self that no longer needs censoring, not because you don't care anymore, but because you've quit tying yourself to the past. The old version isn't erased. You simply no longer force it to come with you into the future. This is the moment of return, not grand, not flashy, but so profound that the entire universe inside you knows. Finally, you are truly here. There is a moment when you no longer have to cling, no longer have to adjust, no longer have to push yourself to do it right or do it well. No noise, no echo, no bright lights signaling the way, just a quiet stillness, like the first deep breath after a long storm, a settling, a soft point of contact between spirit, body, and energy, when all three are no longer in different places. Perhaps all this time you've lived with your body as if renting a temporary shelter. Always a distance, a disconnection, as if you were the driver, not the inhabitant. You move, speak, exist, but rarely truly are there. Even in your happiest moments, there's a vague barrier between you and the experience happening. You've gotten used to adjusting, posture, tone, emotions, so used to it that you thought it was natural living. But what happens when you no longer want to self-edit? What comes when you allow your body to return to itself, not controlled, not managed, not ashamed? This Saturday, it might begin to happen, not because of some big event, but because something within you simply stops resisting. You no longer rehearse your existence, no more playing a role, no more scripting how you need to show up. Instead, there's a letting go, not letting go in the sense of giving up, but a gentle release. Like an object finally allowing gravity to do its work. Your body won't suddenly change overnight, but you will walk differently, breathe differently, feel differently. Not because you're trying to impress, but because your body finally trusts that it can relax. And from that place, everything begins to flow. You look at yourself, not through a lens of judgment, but with the soft gaze of acceptance. Not because you've reached perfection, but because you've stopped seeing yourself as a draft that needs fixing. And when you feel that, even if just for a moment, you'll witness a miracle. The space inside you has become a safe place to be real. This is not a victory, not a labeled awakening. It's a quiet return, where you stop seeking validation from outside, because you've started listening to the acceptance that's always been waiting within. This Saturday, your body won't become something new, but it will become a place you no longer have to run from, and this time you won't leave yourself behind. The strange thing about truth is, it doesn't come from where you expect. The mind, skilled at justifying and arranging, is often the last to realize what's really happening. It can rationalize what hurts you and make you doubt the very things that set you free. But the body doesn't lie. The body is always honest, and on Saturday a deep awareness will rise. You won't be able to ignore it anymore. You won't need to understand everything. You will feel it. When something doesn't fit, you'll sense tension running down your spine before your thoughts even get a chance to speak. When something is right, it will feel like breath flowing to the deepest part of your lungs, smooth, reassuring, like an invitation toward what's original. Intuition, the part of you once tried to suppress to fit in, is beginning to lead the way. Maybe in a familiar conversation, you suddenly realize you're no longer really there. What once felt polite now seems fake. Relationships once called fine suddenly feel old and empty. You no longer have the energy to nod along or the space to accept anything that doesn't resonate with you. You won't try to explain this feeling anymore. Nor will you try to convince anyone to understand, because this movement doesn't come from logic, but from a center inside, where your body now has the final say. It's no longer just feelings, but a fundamental intelligence that's been neglected for far too long. You'll start acting from a very different place, not reaction, not fear, but deep awareness even before words arise. When someone is dishonest, you won't need to expose them. You'll simply see it through your body's response. Your stomach will tighten, your hands will grow cold, and you'll leave that situation without needing a grand reason, because you already know. And conversely, when something is real, you'll recognize it immediately. A meeting that doesn't make a big splash, yet touches exactly the place of emptiness inside you. A glance that makes you feel truly seen. A simple phrase that brings tears to your eyes, as if it comes from the deepest part of your own soul. No need to analyze, no need to search for hidden meaning. You are simply there, fully present, without defense. Saturday is not a loud beginning. It's a quiet milestone, when the command center inside you shifts from the head to the heart, from intellect to intuition. And once that happens, you cannot be pulled back. No one else can speak for you about what is true. You will feel it, instantly and unmistakably. You no longer need fancy words to recognize what is real. You also no longer seek others to confirm the light inside them. You just feel it the moment it's there. No more craving to be convinced. No more forcing yourself to stay in a space that's no longer meant for you. Now, even before your mind can ask questions, your body has already chosen to walk away. It's not just intuition, not a vague feeling. It's a deep understanding rooted in restored instinct. It's no longer an early warning system, but your primary guiding compass. And it doesn't just protect you from harm, it helps you grow beyond it. You won't realize you've changed until there's no turning back. Some transformations come like storms, but this time it comes like a gentle breeze, faint enough to be overlooked, yet strong enough to break everything from within. While you're busy spinning in routine, something quietly shifts position. The familiar suddenly falls out of sync. Things that once excited you now feel hollow. Words once repeated to keep you stayed suddenly lose their weight. You don't plan to leave. You just stop. No farewell, no drama. Just, you can't stay anymore. And that is the true moment of transformation. It doesn't come from a decisive choice, but from no longer wanting to maintain what's old. Your energy withdraws before your mind can even speak. Without that presence, the old structure can't hold you. When you look back, the door has long been closed, not locked, not slammed shut. But now you no longer belong there. What you once called home, stability, what I wanted, is now a silent memory, as if you've woken from a long dream, no longer needing to explain why you once believed in it. Saturday doesn't mark a rebellion. It doesn't arrive with fever, tears, or a loud ending. It comes with a lightness, as if an invisible cord has loosened, and you never knew you were bound. And because it makes no noise, it becomes undeniable. From here on, you will live differently, not because you try to change, but because you can't go back to the way you were. And that quietness, that thing that doesn't need a name, is your truest turning point. If you're still watching, thank you sincerely for your attention. If you enjoy this content and want to see more, please hit the subscribe button. We truly appreciate your support. Feel free to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments below. See you next time, and don't forget to subscribe for more valuable content.